Hello Internetsters, doing a video for you today about a man named Fletcher Prouty. Now Fletcher Prouty was a colonel in the US Air Force, but his main service was as chief of clandestine operations for the CIA in the Kennedy administration. And if you've ever seen the movie JFK, Fletcher Prouty was the real Mr. X. He was Martin Scorsese's chief consultant on the film. Now, so many videos could be done on Fletcher Prouty and his knowledge and how he shared it all with people and what he all experienced. But what I would like to tell you about is the demonic activity in high places that he experienced. And he never called it demonic activity, but it is, because the CIA is a very murderous organization. They do what they want. He wrote a book called The Secret Team, and it was all about the CIA. And the CIA works under one law, and that's the law of the gun. They don't have to obey any other laws. They live by the law of the gun. And they're a chameleon organization. They use businesses, legitimate businesses, as their fronts. They recruit people. They really don't have any guys that walk around with black sport coats and white shirts and black ties and black pants. If they have those guys, they're down in Virginia, Langley, Virginia. But they just do office work. The real guys, you'd never know they're CIA. And I recently came across a Fletcher Prouty video on YouTube, and I'll provide that link in the description below. And he just had, it was a video that I'd never seen of him before, and he had some great stuff in there to talk about. And one of the things he mentioned, one of the things that Fletcher Prouty talks about a lot is a cabal that remains invisible but yet controls how the world runs and operates. And it does run on war and debt. And unfortunately, we pay the debt. And he talked about how every president since Kennedy's assassination has not allowed information out on the assassination. And they could have declassified those documents and released them. And people could then access and continue to investigate. And many people have investigated thoroughly the Kennedy assassination and have provided so much proof that, of course, it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald and who really was. And Prouty knows who was really behind it all, and he talks extensively on it in certain of his interviews. And one of the things that he does mention every now and then, people press him about it, but Prouty was really good at only releasing certain kinds of information. And one of those topics that people pressed him on was the CIA and their cocaine running. And this book, Compromised, How the CIA Co-opted the Bush-Reagan Presidency, is an incredible book. It was written by Terry Reid. It was written by Terry Reid and John Cummings. And Terry Reid was a former CIA agent who functioned as a businessman, a manufacturing business owner down in Mena, Arkansas, and he trained Nicaraguans to fly planes. And he witnessed the cocaine dealing. He saw it all happening. And if you watch the Clinton Chronicles, you'll see massive information on how the Clintons, Hillary and Bill, were running $100 million a month in cocaine, and they did it for about 8 years or so, if not more, while Clinton was governor of Arkansas. And that in and of itself is a massively huge story. But Prouty has so many stories to tell. And again, what's important to know about Fletcher Prouty and who he was is that he was an insider. He ran clandestine, undercover CIA operations. And so he talks about the things that they really did and what really went on. Information that you will never get in history books. I mean, he talks about how, he explains how crude oil, petroleum, is unlimited. And there's no limit on the amount of petroleum because it's produced by heat and pressure, and he explains how it became to be called a fossil fuel and why. And that was just for deception, so that the public would buy controlled prices. He's an expert on the Kennedy assassination. He can go into detail on that. He explains so many important facts on that. And again, this is what this is really about, is demons in high places. And you have to remember that when Christ started his ministry and he went out into the desert and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he was tempted by Satan. And one of those temptations was, bow down and worship me, and I'll give you the kingdoms to all the governments in the world. I'll give you the keys to the kingdoms in the whole world. And of course, Christ did not give in to that. And you have to understand that governments, probably all governments, definitely the US government and every government in the UK and Europe and China and Japan and probably even Russia are satanically controlled, but especially America. America is such a satanic government, it's insane. And the public school system will never teach you the reality about this because the public school system is in on it. They're not about education. So again, investigate Fletcher Prouty. One of the interesting stories that he told was that right after World War II ended, he was based out of Cairo and he was ordered to deliver 250,000 guns to the Far East. And he landed in Shanghai, and he said, where are these guns going? I mean, these were, military grade M16 type rifles. And he asked the guy, the officer who was at the base where he landed, he said, where are these going? And he said, 125,000 are going into Russia and 125,000 are going into Vietnam. Now, if you think of that, that's right after World War II ended, and the Vietnam War was in full swing during the Kennedy administration. These guns were in preparation of all of that. That's how far ahead this cabal is. That's how far, they're decades ahead of us in their plans and what they do. And their actions are demonic. They're about death and destruction. And remember, Christ said, I'm the way, the truth, and the light. No one gets to the Father but through me. And I come to bring life and bring it more abundantly. Christ is about life and truth, and he was God. And so again, I encourage you, give your life to Christ, confess your sin. We all have to. We will all face him one day. And the sooner we all do it on our own, the better. Because once you die, you can't do it. After that, it's too late. So again, check out Fletcher Prouty if you're after the truth and you want to know how the world operates and insider information. He's a great guy to know all this. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, share, and take care. Praise God.